Welcome to the Freshly Centered YouTube channel. Today's workout is a 15-minute full body Pilates workout. Let's begin lying on your mat with knees and feet hip distance apart. We're going to rock the pelvis backwards and forwards gently and rest in our neutral position. You should just have your natural curve under the small of your back and your rib cage down. Let's engage through the core, and we're going to float both arms up above our head, ready for our double leg stretch as our first exercise. Sliding both arms overhead and one leg out. Here we want to create length through the body whilst keeping that core connection and that engagement in between the hip bones at the front. Let's exhale as we lengthen away and inhale as we return. You want to keep the leg in line with the hip and the knee, so it's a straight line that we're drawing away, and really feeling that core drawing inwards as we stretch away. Let's return the hands to the floor, make sure we're still engaged, and float one leg, followed by the second leg. Down and down. This is our double tabletop prep, so we're increasing the load on the core one step at a time. So with that core engaged, we lift and lift, lower and lower. You want to find the exact spot on the floor every time you lower the foot back down again. And this just helps with your precision in the movements. We're going to continue this, but with the arms above our heads now. This takes away your arm support to increase the challenge on your core. Let's focus on some gentle breathing. So we're going to exhale as we lift and inhale as we lower. Think about softening that rib cage down towards our core throughout. We're going to bring it into the obliques now, the side muscles. So fold one hand behind your head, followed by the other hand. And then we're going to lift up on the diagonal to the side. So here you're thinking about bringing the armpit over towards the opposite hip bone. It's not a huge lift. You want to think about increasing the tension from the rib cage to the opposite hip bone. We exhale to lift and inhale to lower, keeping the lower half of your body absolutely still. Let's exhale and inhale. Okay, let's come back to our double tabletop position, one leg at a time. We're going to do one leg stretch. So with our core engaged, you're going to lengthen this leg away, reaching out and drawing it back. Breathing out, breathing in. Think about drawing that rib cage down towards the hip bones, keeping that core engaged for every stretch. Let's point the toes and reach. And let's take the hands behind the head now for crisscross, bringing those obliques back in once again. So from here, we're going to rotate to the side and extend the opposite leg away. Breathe out as you twist, inhale to center. Get that twist through that core area and lengthen that leg as far away as you can. Good, I know these get challenging. Let's take the hands behind the legs now to finish with our one leg stretch with the head elevated. So the hands are just lightly tapping on my leg here, and I'm stretching this leg away, keeping relaxed around my neck. We're going to come into hundreds now. So breathing in, breathing out. So let's pulse those hands up and down, turning the palms around optional as we go. Breathing in, breathing out. This is really good for our endurance, but take a rest when you need to and return to the mat. Stretch the arms out wide. We're going to roll the knees over to the sides just to loosen off after keeping our spine still for all of those movements. And when you're ready, let's come into side lying. We're going to do our glute section now. So we're going to rest the legs on top of each other, stack the hips, the knees and the ankles, and just create a small space under this lower waist area. We're starting with leg lift and lower. So the top leg is going to go up and down as if you're painting a line with your big toe on the wall below you. Exhaling to lift and inhaling to lower. Every time we do this, you want to keep your core absolutely still, and again, feel that connection from the rib cage down towards the core so that we've always got our core support, even though we're working our glutes here. From here, you might need some support. We're going to bring the knee to the floor and stretch away. This just deepens that gluteal activation. So touch down, stretch away. Point the toes when we lengthen, and make sure you tap that mat every single time, keeping strong through the middle so that we don't roll forwards. Breathing in, breathing out. Good, almost there. Keeping this space here and the core engaged, we're going to take the arm overhead for some elbow to knee now. You might need to look for these first few to see how you're going, but we want to create the squeeze and then the length. Breathe in, breathe out. So think about creating length through both sides of your trunk as we do this. And see if we can make that connection every single time. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. Okay, nearly there. Let's take the hand to our hip. We're now going to finish with some leg circles. So using that big toe, we're going to rotate through the whole leg, breathing in and out, keeping your pelvis still, and as always, that core engaged. We're nearly there. Let's breathe and rest. Good job. Let's bring that knee up towards the chest and create some warmth through that buttock after all its hard work. Okay, let's turn on to our tummies. Take your hands in front and just lengthen through your spine for our cobra stretch here. And then we're just going to take it round to the other side to repeat our gluteal section. So come down into side lying, rest your head on your arm, stack your hips, knees and feet, and lengthen this top hip away once again so that you have a small space under that lower waist. Let's engage through our core and prepare for our leg lift and lower. So the aim here is to keep your trunk absolutely still, but moving the whole leg up and down. You want to maintain steady through the pelvis, keeping this small gap at the lower waist here. So although it's a gluteal exercise, we're still focusing on that core control. Pointing the toes and flexing. Point and pull back. Breathe out. Bring the arm down for some support for our knee to floor and stretch. Knee to floor and stretch. This is great for deepening the gluteal strength work, but here you want to maintain that trunk stability. So imagine that you're lying on the edge of a cliff top here and you don't want to roll your trunk over that cliff. Breathing in, breathing out. Good, tapping down every single one. We're going to take the arm overhead for our elbow to knee. And once again, you might want to look where you're going for the first couple till you get the rhythm. Squeeze and then create length through the body. As you stretch away, you want to feel that core drawing inwards for you, keeping that connection, keeping that support. Lengthen the fingertips away from the toes as far as we can. Almost there. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. Return the hand to your waist here and we're going to finish with our leg circles. So using your big toe as a paintbrush here, you want to draw a circle with the whole leg though. So moving from your hip joint. Keeping the pelvis and trunk very still. And rest. Let's bring that knee up towards the chest once again to give it a small stretch before we move on. We're going to roll onto our tummies once again here and just gently lengthen through the top of the head, come up for your cobra stretch. And then carefully come onto your elbows. We're going to do some core work on our fronts this time. So in our extended position here, we're going to engage through our core, draw our shoulders away from our ears, and I'm just wriggling my knees here underneath so that I can lift up into my knee plank position. And then I'm going to drop back down again. So I'm using my core muscles to lift, pause, and I'm lowering back down. So as I do this, I'm also trying to keep my shoulders away from my ears and lift my breastbone away from the floor so that I'm getting some shoulder stability and trunk work. So I'm using my outward breath as I lift up to hold here. I'm going to curl my toes under and pop up to toes this time, and then lower back down again. Toes, toes, knees, knees. So as I'm doing the core work through my legs, I'm really keeping strong through my shoulders. And you want to almost feel like you're trying to push your elbows out to the side, even though they're not actually going to move. So imagine that you're pushing those elbows wide for some extra shoulder work here. Keep your chest lifted high, and we're now going to raise one leg at a time, alternating through the legs to increase the gluteal work, the core work, and of course the upper body work as we hold. Let's keep the breathing nice and steady. Breathing out, breathing in. And finally, we're going to do our hip dips here. So you're twisting and back, dip and back. Once again, maintaining that support through the upper body. We're training that shoulders and top half as we go here. Let's melt all the way down to the floor and come back up for another cobra. Lengthen through the top of the head. Take a nice outward breath here. We're going to come into some more upper body work in just a moment. So just relaxing through your body here for our cobras. Push yourself all your way up onto your hands and knees now for our push-ups. So on the knees to begin with, the shoulders are drawn back, the core is engaged. We're going to bend through the elbows and back up tall. You want to imagine that you're trying to bring your chest to the floor so that your bottom comes down with you. So the elbows are wide and we lower down. Let's take a child's pose for that first set. Get the weight off of your wrists and shoulders for a moment. And we're going to come into some press-ups once again here. So breathing out, breathing in. Good. Keep those shoulders back, core strong, and just getting as low as you feel able to do. Return to your child's pose position. Keep the weight off of your shoulders and wrists once more. And just catch your breath here. We're going to try some full push-ups. If these are not for you, you can repeat the knee push-ups. So we're going to keep strong. It's our shoulder taps we're going to do first. So we're going to tap the hand to the opposite shoulder, keeping the body as steady as we can. You're just reaching and back, trying to minimize any movement through the body if you can. And then we come into all the way to the floor for our cobra here once again. Cobras are a really lovely exercise to take the weight off of the body after you've worked hard. And now it is our full push-ups to go for. So go down as low as you can whilst maintaining good technique. So you want the whole body to lower with you. Think about breastbone down to the floor. And then we're going to finish with our cobra here once more. If you want to do more of these push-ups, you're welcome to repeat the set again. Otherwise, we're going to come into some stretches. So let's just take a big exhale. And we're going to come into our swan stretch here for the buttocks. So you want to make sure the bottom is on the floor and you are lowering your chest over the top of your knee here. The back leg there is just sent out behind you. You will get maybe a hip flexor stretch at the same time. Let's exhale and allow that stretch to work. And we're going to take it into our mermaid stretch here now. So sitting up tall, we're going to lean over to one side and then over to the other side. Lifting through that rib cage. Swan stretch on the opposite side. So again, melting your chest over the top of your knee and breathing out and just encouraging your hips to relax down into the mat. Bringing yourself back to a seated position, we're going to reach both arms out in front and up tall. So just loosening off the upper body at this stage. You want to give it as big a stretch forward, push away, and then lengthen all the way up tall. I hope you've enjoyed your workout today. Please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so that you see more videos that are coming soon.